Hello, how are you? Grace here from the Babbles Travelling Yarns podcast. I just wanted to film a little video of this small little space that I found, which is within 2 kilometres of my house. It is a little park just down the road from me, almost in the middle of Limerick City. And you can hear the motorway just behind me. But it's a beautiful place. There is quite a lot of cans around, so obviously other people have found it and chosen it to be their special woodland drinking place, but at the moment it's just me. And it's beautiful. Spring is here. I'm seeing bluebells. I'm seeing loads of little ferns starting up. There's so many. If you can hear the bird song, it's beautiful. And I've just been lying on this tree, just staring up at this sky. It's just really nice. It's nice to just take a minute and away from home, trying to get out into the air if you can. Now, if you can't, go for a walk or exercise. I hope this will kind of, make you feel a little bit like you have been outside. Luckily, we are still able to go for a walk, but we have to stay within 2 kilometres. We're not allowed to go with anyone that's not within our immediate family. So it is the 7th of April 2020. If you are looking at this in the future, I wonder how we did. Curious to know. I'm working a lot. I'm doing a lot of work. I work in the hospital, and I am just after a night shift last night. So it is, the sun's come out now, isn't that beautiful? So I had a nice sleep now this morning. I got up at about 2 o'clock, which was lovely. Don't know what time it is now, but I haven't had breakfast or lunch or dinner or whatever I'm supposed to have now. But I needed to get out and into the beautiful sunshine of the spring and just remember that people are still alive. The planet is still rolling around. Things are still happening. And how little the planet needs us. It makes you think a little bit. So I hope you're doing okay. I've been knitting on a few little bits. One project in particular I finished, which was a cardigan, and I filmed the steeking of it on my YouTube channel. That's up now, it's live. And I've also started the Winterfell cardigan, which is a stunning cardigan. It was designed for La Bien-Aimée for their sport base, but I'm knitting it in DK outlaw yarn base called Nick's Yarn. I think it's actually been discontinued, but it is beautiful. And I also have my wedding shawl, and I did film a little bit about it, so I might put that in just here. I filmed last week, so enjoy. The first thing I want to show you is this highly complex project, which I didn't get much done on. I got enough on, I guess. I split for the sleeves. Okay, so this is my wedding dress top pattern. I'm getting married in September, hopefully. And so this is a pattern that I have kind of adapted from a pattern called the Little Cardi pattern from Julie Knits in Paris. That she had really lovely increases across the little sleeve, so I just fell in love with it, and I fell in love with this little silhouette that she has a tuck in around the waist, which is real cute. So this is the kind of schematic, I guess. So what I did was, it's not a cardigan anymore, it's a jumper, so I'm joining it in the round once the V gets deep enough, and I'm adding lace panels everywhere. So that's what I did. I looked up some lace patterns on a couple of different websites, and I went with 2 specific patterns. This is the front, so that's the way it's going to look in the front of me. I'll just bring it down a tiny titch. Then the other way. Then this is the sleeve. So this is the sleeve pattern just there. And then this is the back. So this is the raglan increase there, and the back of it is on the back. And then I knit from here to here, and then just flip it and turn it, because I got lazy and I didn't want to write out the whole thing. So I wrote that up and I started working on it when I was in Australia for my brother's wedding, which is crazy to think that that was only a few weeks ago, but it was. And I don't know if anyone remembers, but this is my hand spun BFL and silk that my lovely cat Mr. Beans destroyed there now before Christmas, which was great. I still love him, kind of, but yeah, it's fine. It spit splices together, it's fine. And I'm hoping that I have enough in the 100 grams that I had. I think I have 94 grams now because 8 grams of it came up in a lovely little cat vomit, which was nice. He's fine. He's still hopping around about 4 months later, so there's nothing wrong with him, thank God. So yeah, I started knitting my little cardigan. So this is where I am. I've split for the sleeves. There's a sleeve. I should try it on really, but when I'm wearing my apron, I meant to take that off actually, but here I am. No, I'm not wearing my apron. I'm still wearing it. It's not bad. So this is my cardigan. So that is the back. If you can see, that's the back of it. And it starts just here and it kind of wings out, which is nice. Then the sleeves then have a slightly different pattern. It's a slightly more open work pattern, which is nice. There are so many mistakes, but because it's hand spun, it looks fine. Ha! So that is the open work pattern of the sleeve, and then the front is the same pattern as the back. And I have joined in, I've split with the sleeves, and I just need to try this on one more time, and I need to join it in the front to make this V shape. I did make the sleeve pretty quickly, if you can see. It's actually, sorry, there's another lace thing under there, but the so that's coming across to there. So I'd say I'm nearly there for the joining in the V, but I wanted this to be slightly off the shoulder, just to slightly. It's because then it pulls the lace open a lot more. This is blocked now. I blocked it the other day just to try it on and see when I needed to switch and stuff. So it's looking super cute. Now the sleeves, I've found out, are very wide, but I kind of love that. So I think I'm going to change, because I was going to do narrow sleeves with the lace open, but I think what I'm going to do is, to hide more mistakes, because the pattern on the sleeves is the one I make most mistakes on, is do kind of open kind of butterfly wings, which would be really cute, and then add beads at the bottom. That'd be really cute. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to go with it, just because that's what the pattern's doing to me. And I've decided that's fine. Let's just go with that. It will mean using up a bit more yarn, but I do have some more of the stuff to make it with. Now, it is a very fine yarn, and if anyone asks me to write this up, don't do that. Please don't do that, because that's just mean. I'm not gonna write it up, and that's that. Oh, that's my hair. Okay, so it is a single ply, and it's still kind of activated there. It's a single ply almost. It's a kind of a lace. Sometimes it goes cobweb. So it's very fine, and I'm knitting it on a 4.5mm needle. So I'm knitting it on a very large needle size in order to make the lace spread out, but also make it go a little bit farther as well. So I'm making it in a beautiful little bag that one of my retreat attendees brought me as a present. It's very kind of you. And it's got cats on it. Little kittens. Yeah, the only thing is that the color of the fabric, this is a swatch I was making for a class. The swatch is, the yarn is a little bit cream, and the rest of the fabric for my dress is ivory. So I think I'm gonna just do a quick test on this swatch of a avalanche. So a couple of different, earthquake, I meant to say, avalanche. A couple of different ways of bleaching this. What I might do is, someone said hydrogen peroxide, and I have, is it hydrogen peroxide? I have some that you use to whiten your teeth. I have some of that upstairs. So I'm going to try a little bit of that, like diluted, not strong. Like really, I think it's like 1 part hydrogen peroxide to 4 parts water or something like that. And another person said vinegar will also bleach it a little bit. So I'm going to do a little test on the swatch, just a small part of the swatch, so that if I need to use this, then I can use it. And it's all experimenting really. And the wedding might not even happen, so, you know, might as well have fun with it. Like, we'll still get married, but like the big fancy wedding bit won't, probably. Well, we'll see. It's September. It's a long while away. So that was something I was working on while my brain was sort of working. And then I moved on to another pattern, which I'm firing away on. This one is really doing me good in my soul. It is in a berry bag by Hide and Hammer. And this is a beautiful maroon bag, which is the same colour as my uniform. I love it. I love the colour so much. And this is my natural dye project, and it is part of my entry for the Irish Cal, which Shonach Yarns is currently hosting. And it's Shonach Yarns in this, as well as another natural dyer called Flourish Fibers. So this is an advent calendar, it's a great way to use up an advent calendar actually. This is the Timely Cardigan by Truly Myrtle, or Libby Johnson. And she is, she has this pattern called the Timely Cardigan. If I was to do it again, I think I would do 1 stripes and do helical knitting instead of the 2 stripes, because it kind of threw me off. But I do like that you can see a bit more of the colours. Anyway, so I am using this beautiful skein of yarn, and I think I'm definitely going to have enough to finish it off, because I've gotten all the way down on the sleeves and I'm just on the edges here now. So I'm doing little ribbed cuffs because I did a rib edge there, a little cable rib there. So I did little plaits here. Plaits or braids. Anyone who calls them plaits needs to not, please. Don't do that. Plaits. Ugh. Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry. Allergic to that pronunciation. So these braids are super cute, but they were a bit of work. So as my brain has been slowly decomposing within my skull, because of the amount of work I have to do now, because they've increased our shifts. I'm working 5 nights in the next 8 days, which is super. But I have made it just a really simple twist, and I did kind of elongated twists, and now I'm going into more kind of tight twists now up here, so it'll just fade in a little bit. So that's where I am with this. Now, if you don't know, the Timely Cardigan is supposed to be a cardigan. I didn't knit it like a cardigan because your girl hates purling so damn much. So what I did was I switched the colors. I did a switcheroo colors down the center, and I joined it in the round, and I knit it like a jumper or a pullover or a sweater or whatever you call it. We call it a jumper here in Ireland. I know a jumper means a pinafore everywhere else. You don't have to tell me. It's fine. Cool. It's fine. It's fine. Now you've learned something. So what I've done is I'm gonna steek it. I'm gonna cut it up the front. Now, I don't know how this is going to work because it's got a lot of holes where, you know, things were moving around and the colors were changing. So, see, that's why I think I would do helical knitting in the future. And now I've got that idea in my head. I really want to start it. No, but I really desperately want to start a cardigan, which is like a navy. I've got a beautiful, beautiful sweater quantity for the Winterfell cardigan. Oh, I'm dying to cast, literally dying to cast that on. So after I finish this, Oh, I also have another sweater, which I'm currently spinning the sweater for the sleeves on, which I messed up last night on a Zoom. Oh, God, life is so hard right now. So yeah, anyway, so I really want to finish this off, but I'm not going to steek it until I have all the knitting done. So I'm going to steek it as a present to myself. So I'm gonna knit for probably another 6 or 7 rows on this. I'm gonna have long cuffs because it's probably it's probably here at the moment, so I'm gonna bring it to here, 3/4 lengths. I can never get down the full length of a sleeve. I just can't do it. I cannot do it. Do not expect me to, and we will all be friends. So then I need to pick up all the stitches around I'm gonna start down the bottom. So I left a place here. So I'm actually going to do a steek from probably here. Yeah, I meant to do 5 stitches there, but I didn't. I just realized I just did 4. Ah, sure, 'tis grand. I'll pick up the pearls. And then I'm going to do kind of a wider pickup, a wider crochet reinforcement than I normally would. I was talking to Mina from the Knitting Expect about it, and she was like, oh, if you just want to make sure, she's just done a steeking session. So if you just want to, because I have all these ends. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with those. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to steek around them. I mean, I really should sew them back in before I steek and make it tidy, but then I was also like, but I could hide them in bias binding and I don't have to weave in the ends then. But then I don't know how I'm gonna cut it without them getting in the way, because I don't want to cut them backwards. I don't want to cut it from the inside out, and I don't know what I'm gonna do about it. Right, so then yeah, so I was thinking, I still have quite a lot of the yarn from the advent calendar. So I could just do a grey border, which is fine. But I also could do a multicolor border. But I don't know if I have enough. Honestly, I just don't know if I have enough to go all the way around on some of these. Like on some of these, I have not that much left. And I don't know why that is. It's just the way it is. I think I probably, like on this one, I don't have enough, I'd say, to go all the way around in one go. And I don't want to go all the way around. I think I'm going to go all the way around on this, weigh it before and weigh it after, and see how much I have. And then we'll go from there and see how much I can use. That's probably the best thing to do. And give myself a good margin of error. And I was thinking, just to make it really easy, of just doing a garter border. Instead of like ribbing. So I just do garter. But does that mean I need to do 2 rows of each color to make them look nice? Probably. Might need to do a little swatch and see what looks the best. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, internet? Yeah, so that is the project that I'm really working the most on, honestly. That's the one that is doing it for me at this moment in time. I'm trying not to knit too much as well, because I still have a bit of a problem with my wrist. I don't know if you follow me on the other platforms where I talk a lot, mostly Instagram, actually only Instagram. But I was struck down with the debilitating disease of de Quervain's tendinosynovitis, which is the worst. And yeah, so that was about 6-7 weeks ago. So that sucks. So yes, that was not pleasant. But miraculously, it was almost healed by the time I was quarantined, so I was able to knit. But I did find that I had to slow down and not do as much, which is perfectly reasonable. Hence why I started quilting. So this quilt top has been half done, sitting in my sewing box for, I don't know, a year, maybe more, I don't know. So it is a design base, so it's from a jelly roll, which is a big kind of roll of strips of fabric, which are about that wide, and about a metre and a half long, or 1.6 long. And so you get loads of these jelly rolls, loads of these fabrics, and this technique is really, really easy. You sew 2 strips together, and then you sew those 2 strips to another set of 2 strips. So you sew all the strips together in 2s. So say this one here. So I sewed the pink strip and the blue strip together, and then I sewed the green strip and the kind of flowery white strip together, and then I sewed those 2 strips together, and then you fold it in half, and you sew the pink strip and the green strip together. So you formed a tube. And then you go along and you cut them into triangles, I think. Triangles? Yes, triangles. So they make squares, and then you just need to unpick the tiny little bit that was connecting them. So you only need to like unpick maybe 2 stitches, so you have like a really long stitch on that last row to sew them all together. So then you iron them all out, and you start putting them together into blocks of this mayonnaise. This mayonnaise here. So you have lots and lots of these small little blocks, and then they join up into 4 blocks. So I would do 2 blocks the same on opposite sides. That worked out most of the time, but I had to mess around with some of them. But they look fine. It looks like a quilt. So yeah, and then you sew them all together. I mean, if I was sitting down, I could do it again in 2 days. But yeah. So I don't really know. I need to get a backing fabric, and I need to get an edging. I think the backing and the edging will be the same thing. I'll probably just get a big piece and then fold in the edges. You know, get a big piece, lay out my big piece on the ground, lay out my quilt batting over that, lay out this top, and then fold in the edges and sew the edges. And then do the quilting. I don't know how I'm going to do. I'll hand stitch, I think, the quilting section. So that's going to happen at some point when the fabric shops are open again. I might just buy some fabric online though, because I think the post office is still working, so that's good. And it can keep supporting the local kind of fabric shops. I've got an itchy nose now. My hands are still clean, right? So yes, I have been doing that, and that's been really fun. It's actually been so satisfying to see this come together, like a project that that's been hanging around in my box of sewing stuff for almost a year, and it's great to have that done. I also made this tiny little what's it called? Pin cushion out of the little scraps off the end. And I didn't manage to use all the scraps because there was a bit of wastage, which is not what you want with quilt making, I guess. But yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I really want to start, like, I have little Christmas cushions I think I want to make. I have tiny little squares, and someone was saying make English paper piecing, but I'm like, I actually just don't have the time that other people have right now, so it'll be a machine and just whip it up real quick. Also, yeah, I don't really enjoy hand stitching as much as knitting. Yes. So what else have I been making? Oh my gosh, I made a basket, a crochet basket, and it's holding all of my fabric scraps. So this is, I think it's just a pattern I looked up on Pinterest, to be honest. I think the hook I used was too big. I got the cord from a friend of mine in Limerick, Kama Crochet, Camilla, and but I think the crochet hook I used was too big. She did give me a crochet hook, I couldn't find it, and I made it quite big, but it's super cute. I love this, and this was made out of one of her balls of yarn, which was 25. She was I was trying to get her to charge more, but she took 25 euros per ball for me, so I can't remember how much weight wise this is. Maybe 200-300 grams, something like that, but it's stunning. It's beautiful. Yeah, I do want to make another one which is slightly more sturdy, so I did find her crochet hook, so I'm gonna do that. I think I used a crochet hook which was like size 12 or 15, which is a little bit big for this chunky fabric, but it's cute, and it's like soft and squishy and cute. And I was trying to get the cats into it, they weren't having it. Sad. So when I least expect it, they'll hop into it, I guess. So that was another fun. That was kind of something really satisfying and quick that I wanted to do, you know. I kind of just wanted to get something mindless and finished, because a lot of the knitting projects I had are a little bit complex. So, and I haven't really been on my spinning wheel. Last night I organized a Zoom spinning with my local spinning group, and it was so nice, but I hadn't been on my spinning wheel in so long that I'd kind of forgotten almost, you know. So and I messed up something which I'm annoyed with, because you can't unspin something, but I've got more fiber, I can do it again. Anyway, I think I need to be less pernickety about spinning, but it's for sleeves and I want them to match. Impossible, I know, it's so hard. So one last thing I want to show you just before we go is this little test swatch. So today actually was supposed to be a class up in This Is Knit for a rigid heddle weaving, and I'm so sorry if we didn't, if you were in that class and we didn't get to do it. I'm definitely going to be doing it again. We just need to reschedule, so you'll be first on the list for the class. You know, you'll be offered it first if the dates suit. So yeah, but when I was up there at the end of, or was it the 1st of March? It was right at the start of March, and I did a class up there, and it was lovely. And I ordered a few bits from This Is Knit. They are the only stockists of Ashford equipment in Ireland, as far as I know. Yes, I think that's true. And I got this Wavy Shuttle, which essentially is a stick shuttle which has waves on it. So you use that to push down your fibers, and it makes these beautiful shapes. So it's like C shapes, or, you know, and if you were using like variegated yarn, I think that would be just so stunning. So this is just a little test I did with some of the leftover warp from a class. I was meant to do 2 other classes this month, but they've all been cancelled. So I've got a bunch of warped up looms ready to go, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to use them. So I kind of, I was going to just use them myself, and then I went back to work. So no time for anything. I did a bit of macrame just here, but then I messed up. I got lazy and I stopped. But I was making little square knots, which is kind of cute. Cute. And those are all the things that I've been making now. So it's been a little bit hard to kind of sit and film the last couple of weeks, months. A lot has been going on in the background, and then this happens, and it's made me realize what I have to do. I work a really hard job mentally inside in the hospital, and at the moment it's particularly hard, and it's been really good to take time just to focus on that job, just that job, nothing else, no other bits at the behind, you know, no other hustling, no other. Luckily I'm still getting paid, so I can just, like, I've had to cancel my retreats, which has been a financial blow for both me and the the place that I hosted, but at the same time it had to be done. So if you are watching and you are going to come, I'm so sorry, but sure, listen, aren't we all suffering really at this moment in time? But maybe it's a little bit of a moment to maybe try and make a retreat in our own homes, our own spaces, to try and appreciate what we've got, make us realize what we really miss when we can't do it. I've never wanted to hug my own family so much. But before this, I wouldn't have seen them as much as I wanted to now. So that's definitely reframed my brain. And I can't wait until this is all over so that I can really try and correct the things that I haven't been doing properly for the last 10 years. So I hope you've enjoyed this small little video, and I hope you're having a lovely, trying to find a lovely little part of your day that you can try step away from everything and realize that the good things that you do have, because some of them are really good, some of them are really bad. I'm not saying they're not, but some of them are really good. Let's try and remember that and give ourselves time to appreciate them and deal with them. So the wind is picking up, so I'm going to head back in now.